This is Madson with your top stories on Sports 1140. The Red Sox held on to top the Yankees 4-3 last night at Yankee Stadium and win their American League Division Series 3-1. Boston moves on to face the Astros in the American League Championship Series on Saturday. The National League Championship Series, that begins Friday. That'll happen between the Dodgers and Brewers. The Sharks went into Philadelphia and put a beat down on the Flyers with an 8-2 win yesterday. The Sharks got 4 goals in the first, 1 in the second, and 3 in the third. Logan Couture, Barclay Goodrow, Tomas Hertl, and Timo Meier all had 1 goal. Evander Kane and Joe Pavelski each posted a pair, and Kevin LeBanc had 4 assists. The Sharks move on to face the Rangers on Thursday at Madison Square Garden. Those are your top stories, and now it's back to the drive on Sports 1140 KHTK.
Rise and shine, sleepyhead.
I'm not letting you go to work today.
Wait, what?
Everybody, listen up.
Welcome to The Drive.
Morning.
You're gonna talk.
Get on the phone at 339-1140.
Pretty awesome, huh?
Jump in on our text line at 441140.
Everyone is talking about it. You must know that.
The Drive starts now.
I just tweeted out a picture that my aunt sent me a while back. You weren't with us at 6 a.m. My cousin David, we share the same exact first and last name, is currently on a plane. Going to land here in a couple hours from Atlanta. He's coming over with his wife for dinner tonight. I just posted a picture the last time we saw each other. I was, I think, 3 and he was 1. So it would be two guys with the same exact first and last name having dinner tonight. Which my uncle, who also has the same first and last name, is not in town, which is unfortunate, because that would be awesome to have all 3 of us together. Be very interesting. My parents, myself, my family, my cousin David, his wife. I'm very nervously excited about this. I'm going to cook way too much food. I'm going to clean way too much of my house.
Do I get to come over or no? Do I get to come hang out?
I mean, would you want to? I'm sure it'll be fine. I always build stuff like this up way too much. But
yeah,
it's
no,
a
it'll
big
be
deal.
cool. No, because what'll happen is you'll make small talk and you'll kind of, so what have you been up to? What do you do? Da-da-da-da. You'll start talking about jobs, kids. You'll start telling stories, and it'll be fun because this person doesn't know any of your stories.
Yeah. And I know none of his.
And you get to name drop without being criticized for it.
That's not true.
Hey, can you imagine? Can you just imagine, though, if you went, oh, actually, just recently I was down at this thing and Charles Barkley was there, and he goes, ooh, I'm Dave.
He has been to the Masters before. He does live right there. So
okay.
That's kind of scoreboard for him.
Ooh, I'm Dave. My cousin goes to the Masters.
Here's the thing, and you haven't.
No, that'll be cool.
You haven't hung out with me outside of this place enough to understand that.
Good point.
Although I do radio for a living and my job is to talk, I'm horrible in these situations. I'm not a good small talker, dude.
Well, but that's why I think it was so great when we traveled together to Arizona, because I'm very much the same way.
Wait, we didn't travel together to Arizona. What did you just say when we? Oh, we did. Sorry, I'm thinking like we were in a car.
It was so perfect,
right?
Because both of us just kind of sit there, and we went to a barbecue place, and we both commented on the barbecue joint.
Yep.
Said, "What's good? This is good. This is good. Oh, cool." And then we sat there on our phones, and every once in a while we'd be like, "Hey, you see this?"
Right.
That's funny.
Perfectly
and
comfortable eating and on our
Yes.
phones and having silences that weren't awkward.
Yes.
But
Talked about some work stuff.
But I can't be on my phone. I feel like I have to maximize the time
for sure.
he's there.
For sure.
I'll barely tweet at all. I might live tweet it.
But if it goes poorly, that's how we'll know.
And by the way, he's been in a band before. I think they were called the Eskimos. He's done stand-up comedy before.
I think they were called like the Beatles. Hey, we've got some UC Davis football tickets to give away. The Aggies take the field at Aggie Stadium, hosting Idaho State on October 13th. Make sure to get your tickets for the season at ucdavisaggies.com. All KHTK giveaways are powered by RosevilleAutomall.com. We'll give those away a little later on this hour. Just so you know, the Aggies 2-0 in Big Sky play, 4-1 overall. Their only loss is to Stanford.
That's right.
They're a good team.
They
man.
are a good
Fun
team.
to watch.
Voice of Aggie football, Scott Marsh on the call with DK Doug Kelly. Scott Bair is ready to go. Hey, I wish somebody'd make the joke, hey, there's going to be 3 Carmichael Daves in one place, because you didn't. nobody's made that joke before. That my cousin's name is obviously Carmichael Dave because we have the same name. You see what I'm saying, Kyle? Yeah. I got that on Twitter yesterday when I put that out there. This just in, Carmichael, not my real first name. I don't know if anybody knew that. Not my real first name. Yeah. Dave is actually my real first name. What's my last name, you might ask? Mingo. David Mingo. I like to say it on the air. I wish that was my last name. Red Sox, Astros, Brewers, Dodgers. Coming up at 8:35. Will the Dodgers choke in the championship series or will they choke in the World Series? Get your bets in now. It's going to be one of them. They're not winning it. This Dodger fan angrily shakes their 1988 video cassette tape of their World Series at me through the radio. We're going to win it this year. No, you're not. Just accept it. Joining us right now from NBC Sports California, he joins us each and every Wednesday at 8:05-ish to wrap up the Raiders week and preview the week to come. It is the only Scott Bair. Scott, it's Dave, it's Kyle. How are you?
All packed and ready to fly 11 hours to go watch them play another football game that hopefully they can compete in. How's that for it? Intro.
Yeah, well, now you've been in this business a long time, and I know the temptation is to give the humble answer, and I want you to not give the humble answer. It's the same answer I would get. I'm going to London. It's a blessing. I get paid to do, and that all may be true, Scott. But are you looking forward to the trip?
I mean, I have a 4-month-old. My wife is staying here, and she has 2 kids to take care of. So she's really not looking forward to it, like a lot.
And you are.
I mean, for me, I've heard they have good beer over there. So, yeah, there's going to be moments that I like. I wish it wasn't 11 hours there and back, and I wish the Raiders weren't leaving so late. They did this trip in 2014, and they were there the whole week, and my lady came with me, and it was a free vacation. And we actually, Dennis Allen ruined my free vacation because we stayed in France after that game, and DA promptly got fired the first day that I was there, and I spent the whole day tracking it down from 10 hours away. But again, those sound like first-world problems to me and you. But, yeah, there will be no coach getting fired after this one, no matter what happens. John is fully secure in a rebuild, trying to get this team right again.
It's pretty safe to say John will be around in week 6, week 7. No, and yeah. Now you have been there before. Then you just told me that so you have done the London thing before.
Yeah, and they were over there for much longer. The Raiders have apparently done the research, and it says that leaving later in the week, they don't leave till Thursday night for a Sunday night game that's half a world away. I'm color me skeptical about the travel plan, but I'm sure that they've done their homework on it. Seattle leaves today, and typically what happens is that teams either stay on the East Coast, like teams from the West either stay on the East Coast or they stay in the United Kingdom to practice. The Raiders are going to try to stay home. John Gruden really doesn't like traveling, or so he tells us, and ultimately they are going to go late. We'll see how it works. Maybe they'll come bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, and kick the Seahawks' butt. But if they're even remotely lagging or they slow down in the fourth quarter, it won't matter that they're older. It won't matter that it could be any other extenuating circumstance. Sure, people will point to the fact that they traveled late. So this is another big moment for them and another chance to get off the schneid because they have Seattle, Santa Clara, and Indianapolis coming up, and Arizona. All those seem to be quote-unquote winnable games. But when you're the Raiders, you got to earn them all.
Santa Clara, I see the very subtle shade there. That's good. That's really high quality by you. Hey, I saw a stat today on NFL Matchup that the Raiders are averaging 1.7 rushing yards before contact. Is that just a product of Marshawn Lynch not being exceptionally quick, or is that a problem with the offensive line?
I think that's a good question. I think it's A and B put together. At this point, Marshawn maybe doesn't have the fastest burst. Maybe at times he's patient and waits for the hole. At the same time, they are shuffling their offensive line more than they ever have, in recent memory, shall I say. So I do think that it's all put together. Kelechi Osemele's been hurt. He was out at practice yesterday, but, I mean, he's got a huge brace. I think that's a real wait and see, and you obviously have two rookie offensive tackles now. The run game isn't so bad, I think, because they got a guy back there who can really, really run tough. I have a story on Marshawn Lynch that just posted on the website, if I can shamelessly plug that, and just about his own unique form of leadership, which isn't typical rah-rah stuff. He doesn't have a C on his chest to be a team captain, but he finds ways to say things at the right time, keep things loose at the right time, and then during the game itself, run like a man possessed. I use the term extreme violence, and he does it for additional feet, not even yards at times, and I think that can be infectious. But to answer your question directly, it is a problem that he can't get farther upfield before he gets hit for the first time, because that's when Marshawn can truly be Marshawn.
Scott Bair joining us, wrapping up the Raiders week right here on KHTK. Gary Conley, is he losing his job this week, his starting job this week?
If he hasn't already lost it. I mean, he was down to 13 snaps last week, and sometimes you have to read between the lines of what coaches say, because they can't come out and say what they actually feel until you give them like the fourth beer on the road, at the hotel bar. But I do think that you look at the snap count, you look at how much Daryl Worley was complimented in his return from suspension, and how Paul Gunther yesterday said that Gary Conley is just kind of being given things little by little, and they're taking him along. Gary Conley is a good player. I think he's an excellent cover man. He's natural. He has all the physical tools that you want. I heard back in the preseason, and to be honest with you, at the time, it maybe raised one eyebrow, like not to a Chucky level, but it definitely piqued my curiosity, and then I let it go when they said, we're curious how he's going to be able to tackle, how physical he's going to be able to be, especially if he gets lost in the wash at some point. And I think maybe those fears were valid, because I think he does need to be better in those situations. Daryl Worley is a tough cookie, man. He's also 23, so it's possible that he could be around for a while. They have been rotating people. I don't think that is going to end. So Conley's still going to get his chances to develop and work, but this next snap count, I think, will give us a clear indication of where they're going there. But let's say he falls out of the starting lineup, even for a week, right? It's more reason to pile on. Reggie McKenzie's draft picks can't do X, Y, and Z and all that other type of thing. It's been a common refrain for the last 6 months.
Talking with Scott Bair here of NBC Sports California. Scott, I'm a little bit deep on Raiders Twitter, and I saw a lot of people yesterday throwing out Ken Norton Jr.'s name when discussing Paul Gunther. How much of the issue is the defensive coordinator and his scheme? How much of it is just kind of a lack of talent on that side of the ball?
Yeah, that is officially too far down the rabbit hole. Like, you got to grab a rope and climb back up. Because while I do know that those conversations exist,
sure,
they're preposterous in every way, shape, or form.
Right.
And I like Ken Norton as a guy. And, of course, when they play Seattle, and Seattle's got it figured out a little bit, and the Raiders really don't, and they're giving up a ton of yards at this point. I don't know if there's a bigger believer in what Paul Gunther can do as a coordinator and play caller in this media market than me. I really think that he comes from a good background. He has an even head on his shoulders and is a good play designer who's doing some things that he doesn't really like to do right now because he doesn't have the horses that he needs. The big thing about Ken Norton when he was here, and he was, maybe scapegoated, and really it wasn't the beginning of the end, but that was the final straw that really took this Raiders locker room away from Jack Del Rio. They weren't in a great position at that point. Then they fired a really popular guy in the locker room, and all those players knew Jack Del Rio was pulling defensive strings, and that's where it all officially fell apart. But back to your point, I don't know how much of a X and O's mastermind Ken Norton was. The defense got appreciably better when John Pagano took over, and I do think ultimately this isn't much about really either play caller. I think John Gruden is an excellent play caller too, and it's just going to be a matter of what can they do on the personnel side to get the people they need to perform at a high level. That is my major question, less about the coaches and more about the personnel decisions.
Scott Bair, NBC Sports California, with us. I believe it was 20-3, first and goal on the one. Melvin, and there was the pick play that happened, the interception. And I'm curious, do you think the Raiders are hurting because they don't have anyone, let me see, that they could maybe hand the ball off to in that situation when they need a yard on the goal line? Or are they upset, or maybe they forgot or got distracted by a bumblebee? That there's nobody to hand the ball off to in that situation. Oh, wait, there is, and there's precedent for this. And I saw Gruden's comments. Do you think he really believes that, or do you think that was just a brain freeze on the part of that offense?
It was something that I find curious, and I guess at times you can kind of outthink yourself, because he said, as I'm sure that you're referring to, that that's not going to be my final pass on first and goal.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, when is Marshawn going to retire? Maybe you could bring it up then. But also let's not forget that Keith Smith got the ball on the 1 yard line in Miami too, and that didn't work out too well with Marshawn Lynch right behind him. And Marshawn can get fired up. There's a great little, I don't know, GIF or GIF or whatever the kids these days call them, where Marshawn looks like he's going to pound his helmet through the earth all the way to China. He's so upset by not getting the football there. I do think that was a misstep, and it's something that in the red zone offense they just haven't been very good. They have all these yards and not enough points, and I think that those types of decisions, maybe you can outthink yourself. Now, here's the other side of the coin, though. And again, it sounds like I'm defending the coaches and their play calling, and I am not defending the play call, but the play design itself is pretty good. If Lee Smith breaks free there and he's almost there, if they don't kind of sniff that route out, it's the easiest touchdown on planet Earth. But that they didn't. Carr threw a pick. Now it looks terrible. But to your point originally, when you have a guy like Marshawn, who, like I said earlier, fights like heck for feet, not even yards, you give him 3 feet to go, he will get there, especially if you give it to him 3 times. And especially since that quote from Derek Carr a couple of years ago when Marshawn arrived said, I will never not give him the ball on the one. He probably didn't think he'd be in that position where he had to throw it from there.
I'm going to ask you to speculate, and it's always unfair. What would happen? What do you think would happen if Derek Carr audibled out of that and gave it to Marshawn Lynch?
That's a great question. I think it's maybe 2 years from now, maybe that happens. If he says that he finds a look. But right now, Derek's trying to execute his coach's game plan, as well as humanly possible. And again, I think it always comes down to results, right? I'm sure that if you go back to, Seattle in that Super Bowl, and you think if Russell Wilson audibles out and hands it to Marshawn and they score, that coaching staff is upset for about 0.1 seconds, and then they'll take all the credit and live in all the glory, as opposed to the nightmare it was for their offensive coordinator afterward. It's all about the result, and if Derek got the right result, I'm sure they'd be, okay with it.
When it comes to Derek Carr, and I saw you grading the offense and defense, it seems it's very interesting with him. I don't know how to grade him, Scott, because I feel like part of the time, Derek Carr still hasn't recovered from the injury. Derek's worried about going downfield. Derek's worried about this. And I understand a lot of that has to do with what the defense gives you. I feel like Derek Carr's having overall a good year. If not in fact, I think going into last week, he was one of 4 guys on pace to break the single season yardage record or something goofy I saw.
Yeah.
Is he having a good year, or are the numbers not telling the entire story, in your opinion?
Yeah, I'm grappling with it. I'm not gonna lie to you, because my first thought was to say it's all about end results, and I don't care how many yards you have. If you're not scoring enough touchdowns, you lead the league in interceptions. Not good enough. I bet he would tell you the exact same thing. And the weird thing is that since old you-know-who is tearing up the Windy City, all the focus, everything is on what Derek Carr does each week, and he understands that. And I think he knows, surveying the roster, he would never say this, but surveying the roster, he feels like if the quarterback doesn't have a Herculean effort, man, we're in big trouble. So when you understand that fact, which he isn't wrong, then you get into the complex of, well, I got to play hero ball, and I got to make it happen, and maybe I got to try to force it to Derek Carrier on the one instead of throwing the ball away, and then maybe handing it to 24, and it's a whole different conversation today. I also think that he's kind of in a pickle, right, because he checks down and he plays it safe and does what John Gruden wants him to do, and they lose, and then he gets yelled at by fans for being too cautious. And then he throws a pick in the end zone in Miami, and he tries to push the ball to Derek Carrier against the Chargers, and he throws deep to Jared Cook, who's on fire, against the Rams, and that goes against him. And now he's trying too hard, and now he's pressing, right? And now he's taking too many risks. Like, do you see what I'm saying? Like,
Yes.
he can't win for losing at this point, and that's going to be the case when the results go negative, and they are going to look to coach and quarterback, because those are the two. Because John Gruden kind of got them in this spot with the Max trade and some of the offseason choices, and the quarterback is the one responsible for executing everything. He's not in an enviable position. He gets paid enough that we should care about his position, but nonetheless, I don't know. I feel like I would say not good enough, but not terrible either when it comes to his performance this season.
They had the lead at the half against the Rams. We know what happened there. They lost by 1 to the Broncos and 8 to the Dolphins, again, leading for quite a bit in those games. They beat the Browns. They lose by 16 in Los Angeles to the Chargers, and they don't get a gimme now in London against the Seahawks. When you look at this team and you look at them at 1-4, are they better than their record dictates, or are they about the same as what we think?
I am of the belief that, the on-paper thing doesn't matter. I wake up and I look at my NFL standings, and that tells me who's good. I think a prime example, and I won't make this tangent too long, but you look at the Atlanta Falcons, right? Mm-hmm. Awesome quarterback, loaded, great coach, plenty of firepower on defense, 1-4. I only care about the last two numbers. So from that vantage point, when I'm doing my power rankings, I don't think, the Raiders are better than the Bills on paper, right? Or the Raiders are better than other teams with 2 wins, because it's all about finishing here. It's all about fourth quarter and results. And if that's harsh and, kind of black and white, then so be it. So I think this team is not good enough. I think that this team needs to get better in a hurry, or this is going to get, not just bad, but pear-shaped, mushroom clouded here. And this is the stretch to do it. Now, the one thing I will say is that despite the fact that these results are not good, and it's easy to put them at number 30 in the power rankings you can find at NBCSports.com/Bair. That's number 2, baby. The over-under is 3. I'm going to hit it. Okay, so
you get 4 per hit, Scott. You do what you got to do. You get an allotted 4. You got to be using them.
You get 4 shameless ones. You get 4 shameless plugs. After that, there's a little shame with it.
Okay, so that's how I kind of look at it. I think that's how the players should look at it. They're disappointed because they know the difference between 1-2 and 1-3 and 1-4 and 1-5, right? So they understand that it's giddy up time, and they are still working hard. They seem to be motivated and focused and bought in, and all those things that you want to hear at this stage. They could use some better results to help kind of put some pep back in their step. Seahawks and traveling to London for all the reasons that we've discussed, that's a tough place to do it. But I do think that they need some validation here to continue on this cycle. I don't see any give up in this team. I don't think John Gruden would tolerate it. But doing better fast is vital now. And this is a division with the Chiefs in it. You know, let's not even talk about ridiculous things like division titles and stuff. Let's talk about the climb back to true competitiveness in terms of results and finishing games better. That's been the missing ingredient because their veteran defense is both too old and too young, and their offense is both too reliant on one guy and trying to figure out, trying to answer questions in other spots. So that's a tough place to be. Good coaches and ultimately a good quarterback trying to figure it out here before the season really slips away.
Why the Raiders are leaving so late for London, the aforementioned power rankings, the update on the potential Worley, Gary, and Conley battle, and so much more is what Scott Bair writes with his excellent Raiders coverage. Safe trip to London. We'll be checking in at NBCSports.com and NBC Sports California for all of your updates. And, hey, man, eat the food, drink the beer, have some fun.
I will do all of those things. Thanks, guys. Talk to you next week.
You got it, buddy. Take care. That's Scott Bair, NBC Sports California, your Raiders update. We will take a break. We'll step aside for a couple minutes. When we come back, let's look ahead to these league championship series games. When will the Dodgers choke? We got a couple other things for you as well. It's The Drive. Back in a couple. Sports 1140 KHTK.
Food and music are about to collide with Downtown Showdown, featuring performances from 80s icon Sheila E., ex-ambassadors, and country star Chris Jensen. We're taking over Capitol Mall with free blocks of food trucks, interactive vendors, games, and great music. It's Downtown Showdown, Saturday, October 20th from 11 to 5 at Capitol Mall. Tickets are just $20. Get more information at KHTK.com.
Carmichael Dave here, wearing the Good Question crown, coming to you to talk about Fire Wings. 21 different flavors to choose from. 21. The former Good Question crown winner, Kyle Madson, has eaten 19 of those.
Yeah.
How'd that feel with the crown on, by the way?
It felt really, really good.
Like best 5 minutes of your life?
Yeah. Yeah. I very much enjoyed wearing the crown. You know what? Not the best 5 minutes of my life. Second best 5 minutes of my life. The best 5 minutes of my life was the first time I tried Fire Wings.
Hey, and now you've tried it so many times. You've got 2 more flavors. What flavors are those?
I have mango habanero and sriracha. I think I might have to go this week and just get those 2. Like, just knock it out.
Mango, how can you not? You get mango habanero, get the sriracha, and a 32-ounce glass of milk. You'll be good to go.
Yeah, I'll be fine.
There'll be a little spiciness going on there, but whether you like spicy or whether you like the original flavor, buffalo, lemon pepper, salt and pepper, Jamaican jerk, my jam, the bread and Malaysian curry, they've got something for you to go with their garlic ramen, their garlic fries, and so much more. Go to firewings.com, find the location nearest you, and you tell them Dave and Kyle sent you.
This is Boomer Esiason with the CBS Sports Minute, brought to you by Navien tankless water heaters, proven performance for endless hot water. It's been a while since we've assigned Blake Bortles to stay after practice and run penalty laps, but the Jaguars quarterback turned in a clunker against a suspect Chiefs defense. Bortles coughed up a fumble and a career-high 4 interceptions. 1 was a pick 6, 1 was intercepted at the Chiefs' 1, and 2 were swiped in Kansas City's end zone. Equally brutal was Mason Crosby's performance. The Packers' 12-year veteran experienced one of the worst days by an NFL kicker in more than 2 decades. Crosby missed 4 field goals and an extra point in what he called an anomaly in life. Finally, there's Miami's quarterback Ryan Tannehill. His 3 second-half turnovers gifted Cincinnati 14 points as the Bengals rallied to overcome a 17-0 third-quarter deficit with 27 unanswered points. I'm Boomer Esiason.
Hi, Kevin Harlan for Navien, and we're in for a real battle at the Murphy home tonight. Mom's coming down the stretch with a huge load of laundry. But wait, Dad just loaded the dishwasher. And whoa, out of nowhere, daughter Nora jumps in a hot shower. This could get ugly. But thanks to the Murphy's Navien tankless water heater, everybody wins tonight. Because Navien delivers an endless supply of hot water for everyone.
Find out more at tanklessmadesimple.com or your professional Navien contractor.
Count on Navien. McDonald's presents Dylan McWilliams, possibly the unluckiest person in America.
I was attacked by a shark, and that was a few months after I was attacked by a black bear, and that wasn't long after I was bit by a pygmy rattlesnake.
Dylan's about to play the new Trick Treat Win game.
All right. I want a McFlurry.
If he's lucky enough to win, you're lucky enough to win. Hurry in and play Trick Treat Win. With 1 in 4 odds of winning instantly, you won't need luck. No purchase necessary. Ends October 31st. 50 U.S. and D.C. 13 and older. Rules at participating McDonald's. Mostly food prizes.
Okay, so summer is coming to a close. Winter's creeping up on us. Garner Roofing is trying to get you prepared for that winter season. With their $69 inspection, they also have an end of summer sale going on right now. They also offer veteran and senior discounts. They got a lot of stuff going on right now. They have financing options available with no payments, no interest until 2020, or as little as $89 per month with 0 down. They've also got terms up to 30 years, and some financing isn't even credit-based and is tax deductible. Call them right now, 833-R5O's and an F, or online at GarnerRoofingInc.com.
Hi there, this is Jason Ross, and we all have financial questions. Can we afford a bigger home? What's the best way to save for my next vacation? And can we lease or buy a car? Whether you have questions about saving, spending, or anything in between, Bank of America's experienced financial specialists are here for you. Proudly serving the greater Sacramento area. Schedule an appointment at bankofamerica.com/conversation and start the conversation.
Subject to dealer stock on hand and approved customer credit. See dealer for details.
Here, Roseville, think Lexus. Now think the L Certified Fall Collection event because it's going on right now at Lexus of Roseville, located in the Roseville Auto Mall.
Lexus Roseville. Now your sports update. Sports update. Powered by Mercury Insurance.
Hi, this is Kyle Madson with your top stories on Sports 1140. The Red Sox held on to top the Yankees 4-3 last night at Yankee Stadium. They win the American League Division Series 3-1. Now they face the Houston Astros in the American League Championship Series. That begins Saturday, but first the NLCS begins Friday. That's happening between the Dodgers and the Brewers. The Sharks went into Philadelphia and smashed the Flyers 8-2 yesterday. They got 4 goals in the first, 1 in the second, and 3 in the third. Now the Sharks move on to face the Rangers at Madison Square Garden on Thursday. Those are your top stories, and now it's back to the drive on Sports 1140 KHTK.
Here we go. The drive continues now.
Jiffy Lube text line at 441140. From the text line, from the 209. Shocker. Not listening this morning, but wanted to thank Dave again for running his mouth about me not knowing what I'm talking about and then having 0 answers to the facts, not to mention chickening out on the bet you raised. Truth is, that's identical behavior to the trolls you claim to despise. So you suck, you're chicken, Y-O-U-R. That, I don't even want to go there. And
do what to what?
He says, you suck, comma, you're a chicken, like you're a chicken, and you're the same as the lame trolls you hate. All I have to say is, sir or ma'am, can you please be more specific? That could be from a number of people, meaning a number of different things. Oh, they just clarified. This is somebody talking about how I said, they were saying that Connor had quit. And I said that anybody with who's been around that sport at all understands that in that situation against a guy like Khabib, you're done. You're done in that situation. And I might be getting the order here wrong, but I think the guy at one point texted me and said, you outweigh me by probably 100 pounds, but I could get out of a rear naked choke if you put a rear naked choke on me. And I think I said something like, dude, if I outweigh you by 100 pounds and I put a rear naked choke on you, unless you have a gun or a knife or something to stab me with, you're not getting out of it. Oh, apparently that really upset this person. Well, sir or ma'am, let me explain to you a couple things. Number one, I'm right and you don't know what you're talking about. Number two, that's not me trying to be Billy Badass. That's me explaining that for somebody to think that Connor quit in that situation against Nurmagomedov does not know what they're talking about. And as much as I would love to put you in a rear naked choke, here's the problem. If I put you in a rear naked choke, let's say you come in here, I put you in a rear naked choke, and you're flailing around or whatever it might be, somehow you either for real or fake injure something. Guess what happens? Guess what happens to me? It's not good. If you don't believe me, start here. Take your friend or somebody, anyone who even understands what a rear naked choke is. They don't have to be in jiu-jitsu. Just so they understand what it is and how to put one on. Have them come up from behind you, preferably on the ground. So you both are on the ground, so you're not standing, so you don't hurt yourself. And have them throw a rear naked choke on you. Now, imagine that from somebody who's 6'3", 230. That's not me being a badass. I'm not Mr. Tough Guy. I'm saying, I will say this. I am taller and bigger than Kyle Madson. Number one, I'm right, and you don't know what you're talking about. It's a great point. I could have Uriah Faber come in here. Now, I'm no jiu-jitsu belt, but I've probably spent lifetime 4 hours in my life rolling around, goofing around with jiu-jitsu. Enough to have a very cursory understanding of how horrible I am at it. Uriah Faber, or any of the teachers down at Faber's gym, could come in here and could spend 5 minutes in that room with Kyle. Literally 5 minutes. Run a stopwatch. And Kyle, who I believe has never trained jiu-jitsu in his life, would then be able to, even though he is far shorter than me and I outweigh him, he would be able to, if he came up from behind me, let's say I was sitting down on my rear end and he was behind me, he would be able to choke me out or make me tap from a rear naked choke after 5 minutes. And I understand to tuck my chin. And I understand which way to turn my head. And I understand where I'm supposed to grab his wrist and what I'm supposed to at least try to do. Doesn't matter. Now multiply that, friend who texted, with a guy like Habib Nurmagomedov, who literally there's video of him wrestling bears when he was 5, who his entire life has been on the ground wrestling and choking people out and hammering them down. And a guy like Connor, who is much better than you and I on the ground, and trust me when I say could submit probably anybody listening to the show damn near in about a minute. But UFC standards, he is not a ground guy. He knows just enough to get him out of trouble sometimes. You're in the 4th round. Your cardio's out. You've been getting beaten on for the better part of 3 rounds. And Habib, who is 27-0, and the best ground guy in the history of that division, and perhaps, well, not the UFC, but definitely up there. Sheesh. Sorry if he tapped out rather than go unconscious and literally probably crapping himself in front of millions of people. I find a lot of fault with a lot of things Conor McGregor has done. But let's be real here. That's not quitting. That's not him being a coward. That's him understanding he is beaten and doing the smart thing and learning to fight, living to fight another day.
Right. You're fighting this sport to win, not till the death. And right. It's equivalent to a football team, let's say, is down 35-0 with a minute and 10 seconds left. They have a 4th and 10 at their own 10-yard line and they punt.
Right.
Because they're like, here, we're giving this ball back to the offense so they can kneel on it and call this game over. That would be like going, wow, that team quit.
Yeah, they sucked. The no heart.
Wow. Like, no, you just, sometimes you lose sometimes.
I also feel compelled to say, even though we've gone above and beyond to point out people that do and do not know jiu-jitsu, I've also would like to go above and beyond to say that people, please don't try this at home in all seriousness. I have seen many times people watch some YouTube videos and then mess around and put somebody in a rear naked choke. And what they don't realize is, I think a lot of people think that what you're doing is you're choking them like they what you're also doing is you're cutting off their arteries on the side of their necks. Their neck. Only one neck. It can be extremely dangerous. I've seen people just for fun try to fight their way out of a rear naked choke. Oh, total fun, not a fight. Just, hey, put me in when I can get out. And they struggle and they move around, and odds are generally when an inexperienced person's in a choke and they struggle to get out, they're actually sinking it deeper, and their heart rate's going up and their blood's trying to pump higher and their adrenaline starts moving, but their arteries are cut off. If you've never had anybody lose consciousness in or around you, trust me when I say odds are, unless you hate this person and they're threatening you, you don't want to experience the fear, or should I say actually terror, of not knowing what you're doing and trying to bring this person back into consciousness. That is a scary, scary feeling because you don't know what you're doing. So here's your public service announcement. Leave the grappling and the chokes to the professionals. And there are many gyms here in town, and I'll give a free plug to my buddy Faber. There's many gyms here in town where you can go down and some very nice, humble people will happily, and generally for free the first couple times, bring you in and start to show you the basics. And trust me when I say, if you haven't experienced it, you'll be very surprised and very amazed at the absolute ballet and skill that these gentlemen and ladies absolutely have. We'll take a break. When we come back, what's on tap, what's going on today in sports, what's coming up, all that fun stuff, and some more sound for you right here on Sports 1140 KHTK.
Leaving your car away from your radio? Don't worry, because the KHTK app will allow you to catch all the shows you love. Never miss the drive or Jim Rome. Catch every minute of the lowdown and Grant and Doug. Just download the app now and get all your favorite shows on your digital device of choice. The all-new Sports 1140 app. Get it today.
Carmichael Dave here for my good friends at Hoblet Ram. You know, I tell you every day about Ram Power Days. I tell you every day you can take up to $12,000 off MSRP on select 2019 Ram 1500 trucks, and also up to $19,000 off MSRP, $19,000 off select 2018 Ram 1500 trucks. Of course I tell you that because that's important. Sometimes I don't just tell you about the day-to-day. You know, yesterday, I took my son and daughter to a soccer practice. We loaded up the truck with gear. We had some chairs, some food, soccer balls, different things. They asked us to bring some of our equipment. We did. You know, I take for granted the fact that with the cars I usually drive, listen, I got to mush the kids around, and here, let me put this in there. I got to put some of the stuff in the front seat. Okay, can you put these chairs on your lap? You know what I did? I put everything in the back of the truck. And then on the inside of the truck, we listened to the Beatles channel on Sirius XM and drove to the place. You take for granted when you have a truck just how much easier it can make your life. And my 2019 Ram Laramie 1500 Hemi is just flat awesome. And there's no better place to buy than from Hoblet Ram. 7 minutes from the airport, right there in Woodland. Check them out online at hobletdodge.com. And for an extra $1,000 off, just simply tell them Carmichael Dave sent ya.
Have you noticed a lot more men smiling around town? Universal Men's Clinic has treated thousands of patients. That's thousands of happy men who have a greater zest for life. If you don't have the energy, stamina, or strength like you used to, or having problems in the bedroom, you could be our next happy patient. Call us at 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit universalmensclinic.com. A $199 office visit may get you smiling too.
I'm Charles Arakaki, a doctor at the Universal Men's Clinic and a happy patient. I was feeling old and I thought it was my demanding lifestyle. I started feeling loss of energy and stamina. Having treated thousands of patients with low energy and sex drive and seeing them improve, it hit me. My symptoms were similar to my patients. With the modern medicine at Universal Men's Clinic, I'm now enjoying a renewed quality of life.
Call us at 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. or visit universalmensclinic.com.
Sacramento homeowners, there's never been a better time to permanently fix your low water pressure, rusty water, or pipe leaks by repiping your home today. Repipe Specialist has been serving the Sacramento area for many years, collectively repiping over 35,000 homes in our 25-plus years. We've built a reputation on offering the most efficient repipe process for customer convenience, repiping an entire home in just 1 to 2 days, patching your walls, and providing a lifetime guarantee. Repipe Specialists only uses the best repiping materials with high-quality PAX or USA Grade L copper pipes. For a limited time, take advantage of our most affordable offer. Right now, on approved credit, get 0% interest for an entire year. That's right, a quality home repipe, wall patching, and a lifetime guarantee, and 0% interest. Repipe Specialist provides a free in-home estimate explaining the process tailored for your home. So call Repipe Specialist today for your free in-home estimate at 888-256-6379. 888-256-6379. 888-256-6379.
This is the No Cuffs Legal Minute with the founder of 1-800-NO-CUFFS, super lawyer Darren Kavanoki. You've got a question?
Hey, Darren. I've just been arrested. Can my boss fire me?
Thankfully, an arrest is just an accusation, and because of the presumption of innocence, it shouldn't be used to take any action against you. But there's exceptions, so you may want to call me offline at 1-800-NO-CUFFS. For example, if having a valid driver's license is an essential part of your job, and if you're arrested for a DUI and you miss the 10-day window to request a DMV hearing and your license gets suspended, your employer may have good reason to let you go. But this is exactly the kind of issue that you want a lawyer to help you navigate. So call us at 1-800-NO-CUFFS. At 1-800-NO-CUFFS, we want to help with more than just court. We want you to be better off in every possible way because of us. 1-800-NO-CUFFS, because no one looks good in handcuffs, unless you're into that sort of thing. 1-800-NO-CUFFS.
Retired? You probably have more risk in your portfolio than you've been told. A financial crisis could bring 40% losses. What would you do then? Listen to 50 Shades of Money every Saturday at 8 a.m. and get the answers from Peak Financial.
It's the end of the show, but it's the start of your workday. For a cold one, it's What's on Tap. Here's What's on Tap.
Hey, Kyle, what's on tap today? That's sports that are happening today. Well, there is no NFL today. Okay. There is no baseball today. So here's what's on tap for you.
Our Sharks don't play.
Sharks do not play. Big win last night, though.
Huge win.
I will tell you.
I would.
Go ahead.
A huge win.
You know what impressed me the most yesterday about that Sharks win? Well, I don't think we have enough time, to be honest with you.
I'm right there with you.
But I will say this. That was a lot of scoring. That was a lot of scoring by our guys. Okay? And when you look at how our lines dominated their lines.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
That was my big takeaway yesterday was how thoroughly all of their lines, like you said, dominated really that game. In my estimation, from what I've seen, if they average 8 goals per game, they're going to win a lot of hockey games.
I mean, listen, if we're being serious, any night you get 2 out of Pavelski and 2 out of Kane, you're way ahead of the 8 ball there.
Yeah.
All right.
If those two guys, even if you get 1 each from those guys.
And they only had 5 goals in their first 3 games. And that was, part of that was that 4-0 loss to the Islanders just the night before.
Right. You knew the breakout. You knew the breakout was happening. That team's way too talented to be sitting at 1 and 2. And Pete DeBoer is still moving stuff around, seeing who plays well together. But he seemed to find some combinations last night that worked.
Brian Elliott was not good in goal for the Flyers at all.
What was weird is early on in the game he made a couple of really brilliant saves.
Yeah.
In the early portion of the first period.
31 shots over the first 2 periods. 31 shots. And a couple Flyers actually missed some open looks that might have actually made it a game. But 20,000 strong at the Shark Tank took over. And see you later. No?
Nope, that's not what happened.
No? I disagree.
It was for sure in Philadelphia.
What'd I say, the Shark Tank?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I meant at the Flyer Tank. Damn it, got all the way through that.
You were so close.
So close. Like, I feel like if somebody tuned in the middle of that, they would have been like, oh, wow, that's educated hockey talk from those guys.
Listen to these dummies.
Yeah, they know what they're saying.
Kevin Kurz from The Athletic. They also got some decent news about Joe Thornton's knee injury. This is from a couple days ago. It's an infection. He's going on antibiotics. Pete DeBoer called it great news. But fluid buildup in the knee is a little bit scary. That's what knocked Rafi Torres.
Sure is. You ever had fluid drain from your knee?
No.
I have. It sucks.
Yeah, I bet it sounds like the worst.
It sucks. It was in 7th grade.
Oh.
I dislocated my kneecap, destroyed everything in there, and I had to go to my doctor, the late, great Dr. Andre Pitchley. And I had to go to him, and I swear he stuck a needle the size of you into my knee. And not only does it go in your knee, but there's nerves in there that are like that deep. I don't know if you've ever felt a deep nervy pain.
No.
And I'm sitting there watching blood.
I gotta be real with you right now. This is making me sick.
Hey, I'm almost done because that's kind of the point I'm getting to. Multiple vials, you had to change them out of blood, and finally I started going whiter, pale. And my mom, who was an RN, was right there next to me. Remember, I'm in 7th grade. She was so smart because I was sitting up and watching. She does this. She comes around. She puts her hand over my eyes, slowly rolls me back so that I'm in a lying down position. She says, "You don't want to watch this," because I was about ready to go. I was about ready to go. So, anyways, my point is, we hear stuff like that all the time. You notice that? You hear stuff like that all the time in sports. He had to have his knee drained. He'll be good to go in 2 days. The guy in football got hit and hurt his ankle. He got some painkillers. He got a cortisone injection during halftime, and he's back out there. We hear this stuff all the time. And I'm not crying for athletes who are $1 million paid and fly on luxury jets and hotel. But we hear that stuff all the time and we don't even notice it. But dude, if I hurt myself during this show, and like during the 7:35 break, I went over to the KHTK trainer tent, and they had to cortisone me, the second half of the show would be entirely about how much pain I was in and how much that shot was an ouchie. And I'm not playing sports. I'm talking on the radio. We just take it for granted what these guys do to their bodies and then what is done to their bodies to get them out there. Wizards and Pistons, Grizz and Magic, Nets and Raptors, Spurs, Hawks, Pelicans, Heat, Pacers, Bulls, Suns, Trailblazers, Warriors, Lakers tonight, 7:30 in Las Vegas, Nevada at the T-Mobile Arena. Site of that Conor McGregor fight we've been talking about. One text to clean up off of that, by the way. Dave, did you have the fight at 3-0 for Khabib before McGregor tapped? No, I had it 2-1. I gave McGregor the third round, and that's not to say McGregor did a crazy amount of stuff in the third round. I truly believe Khabib
carried him on purpose.
I think he just kind of went, I'm going to take the third round. I'm going to relax. I'm going to stand up with this dude a little bit. I'm going to catch my breath, conserve energy. I'm going to let him drain his tank, and then I'm going to go out and I'm going to end this fight in the fourth round. So yes, I gave the third to Conor. No, I didn't look at that as some moral victory for Conor.
I saw this video of breaking down the move Khabib did that he planted the right on the on Conor's chin.
Yeah.
Where he faked like he was going to go for a takedown and then swung that right hand.
Yep.
I don't know how you defend against that.
That's the thing is when you're a when you're a true mixed martial artist like Khabib was, it's almost impossible for somebody who's pretty much one layered like Conor. You have to defend against so many more things. Khabib does not have to defend against Conor taking him down.
Right.
If Conor takes him down, Khabib's like, okay, take me down, dude. Great.
Please.
Coming into my world there, Grandma. That's what he's saying. Speaking of UFC, UFC 230 will be in at Madison Square Garden, New York City. Derek Lewis, The world-famous Derek Lewis, he of the amazing, the amazing post-fight interview with Joe Rogan.
Oh, that was really great.
He has talked himself, and let's be honest, punched himself into the main event with Daniel Cormier. It will be Cormier, Derek Lewis. That is your main event. Madison Square Garden. The bad news there is the co-main event was supposed to be Nathan Diaz versus Dustin Poirier. That's not happening. Dustin suffering an injury, even more injury curses for the UFC. That fight, as of right now, unless I've missed something in the last hour, is currently off the card. As far as breaking down that fight, would love to see Lewis do something. And with power like his, anything's possible. But this seems like a bigger mismatch to me than Conor and Khabib.
Right. This seems like one of those things where everyone goes, hey, if he lands one punch, but it's like that's his only way, like that's his literal only chance, and we just see Cormier just kind of dismantle him.
You're talking about a guy in Cormier who's a world-class wrestler.
Yes.
Who will, and you're talking about a guy in Lewis who said to Joe Rogan, by the way, I'm not fighting for the title. My bleep needs to do some more cardio.
Yeah. F what you talking about.
Yeah, exactly. From the 916, Deep Nervy Pain is listening to Dave and Kyle talk hockey. Hey, you know?
I think I saw Deep Nervy Pain at Bottle Rock this year.
Oh, you went and saw DNP?
Yeah.
Heck of a band. Tomorrow on the show, we've got football. We have Kings and Jazz opening up tomorrow night. A lot of stuff going on. We'll preview some more baseball. We'll get back to our Kings preview as well.
Oh, yeah, we're going to have baseball tomorrow.
Is it tomorrow or is it Friday?
Oh, Friday.
Friday. But we'll talk about the game tomorrow.
Shut up, Drew Brees.
Yeah, my goodness. All right, Eunice does a great job. The graphics look better and better each and every day.
No, her head's inflating. She does an okay job.
Wow, shade thrown at Eunice. Hey, by the way, when you got the good question crown,
yeah,
I even high-fived her.
I saw that.
Yeah, I
was wondering why you were
coming
her. Back in.
Why involve her? She's such a big part of the show. And people
huge part of the show.
So for Eunice, for you, Kyle Madson, I am Carmichael Dave. We'll see you tomorrow at 6 a.m. Enjoy the rest of your broadcast day. Jim Rome is next, right here on Sports 1140 KHTK. Hey, bye now.